particularly that news, he claimed, I write down a name of Prophet Muhammad on the moon. And that story came from that organization's at persons who is a director of public relations, and he released that story to newspapers. And we have a community newspaper in Urdu and English also in Toronto. And we heard that about that story, and we picked that story for our newspaper. And I wrote a column. Okay, if any person claimed about that he can write any name or prophet's name on the moon, so where is the NASA and other organizations who have a very expensive instruments to see that what is the on the moon and other stars? So why they didn't notice that? And there is in Pakistan uneducated peoples. They are sitting like you, but you are not uneducated. So they are sitting there, and what's the leader saying? They have beliefs like this, and I'm not agree with that. That's why I'm here in Canada. Otherwise, I was a very famous journalist in Pakistan. I was a very youngest chief reporter of the any newspaper. I was the very youngest president of Punjab Union of Journalists. The Punjab is a very populated and biggest province of the Pakistan. When I was just 21 and 22 years old. So uneducated people saying that, oh yes, yes, but here we are in Canada, we are in these countries, and why you wanna sell yourself? And you are just taking a religious name because you are a mullah and a lama. And what are you doing here? Because here the kids are going to school, believe me or not, I'm a journalist, I know about English, but not a spoken English, but I know. And my 5 years kid, he have more good knowledge, more than me, because he was in these schools in Mississauga or in Toronto and in Canada. And he can, talk with me, and he raised so many questions in front of me, because why you are talking about that, why you are saying this, because I know my teacher told me, and that's why I raised my voice and I wrote a column, because we are in this country. Why you wanna take us in a backward, and why you wanna say that, because you can write down anything on the moon and stars. I wrote that column. They don't agree with me. They feel I wrote down a very bad words about his leader, but there is one point. I raised that, and after that incident, I wrote that. Here, I'm here in this hall, who they are seculars, they're non-believers or believers, I don't want to say anything, and we will take a little bit time after that. If in this world peoples don't believe on God, if in this world peoples can write anything about prophets, I'm not talking about prophet, I'm talking about prophets.
Bank profit.
Not bank profits. I'm in a loss, so that's why I'm not thinking about profit. So, and if in this country and in this world, any journalist have to write down news about American President Bush and his daughters, and if we can say the now internationally politics like this I don't want to say, but in my article I wrote down, if there is a peoples, they don't believe on God, they don't believe on prophets, they don't believe on any other person, so why I can't write anything about a single person who's claimed I can write down a name of prophet on the moon, and his past I know, and I wrote down in my columns, I know, because Pakistani Supreme Court, Pakistani High Court, that have decision, he's a lawyer, he's a criminal person, he's a like this, and I have proofs with me. So why I can't do anything, why I can't write anything about that person? That's my right of expressions. I have right to speak, I have right to write anything, and I know in this country, okay, if we are talking about Pakistan, I know there is so many journalists, sometimes they're little bit, twisted, but here, I know, if I wrote down anything like that, I can go to the court. I have to face the court. I have to face the lawyers. I have to face so many questions. But if I wrote in this country, and I have so many degrees about responsible journalism and ethics from England and so many countries, so I want to use this. But I wrote that column. Next day, we're receiving calls, threatening calls about myself, about my editor, about my wife, about my kids, about whole my family, and we are laughing on that. Oh, yeah, so many people's here. Maybe they think more bad, and maybe they're taken very seriously. But my opinion is there, because if they didn't agree with me, they can call me on the court. They can call me in a court, and they can discuss with me in front of judges and lawyers. Anyhow, that threatening calls we're receiving again and again and again. And when I was think there is no more laughing, now I have to take a serious action. I went to police station with my editor. We registered that complaint, and that police officer said, no problem, and that's your occurrence number of your complaint. And next day, not more than 24 hours, just after 22 hours of that complaint, people's attack on me, they injured me, they smashed my windshield, window, they beat me up with a bats. And you know about bats, in South Asia we have cricket bat, but you have here a baseball bat. And they giving me a very bad words, but even I was injured, I was hospitalized, I went to there, they give me a medicine, head, my arm, my neck, but I feel it's okay, because I used to these kind of injury in back home. But the question is, how's that possible in this country, in this city, where we applied as a refugee, and they gives us everything what we want. They gives us respect, they gives us everything. But just because of one